Next on Fox 9 News at 9. Fox 9 uncovering serious security lapses at the airport.
To know that we had somebody like that actually doing the security searches and things, it is absolutely terrifying.
Robberies at homes in Eden Prairie and the connection they have to the murder of Mendota Heights police officer Scott Patrick. Plus a virus in the Midwest that is sending hundreds of young kids to the hospital.
Well, you get nervous. You know, you want to keep your kids safe as possible.
And meet Minnesota's newest millionaires.
If we ever win the lottery, we're buying this lawnmower set.
And the crazy story that unfolded last night, starting in the Fox 9 newsroom.
And now, Fox 9 News at 9.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Tonight we have new and disturbing questions about airport security from a place you might not expect: the people who clean your planes.
Fox 9 was the first to reveal a Minnesota terror suspect worked at the airport for a decade, cleaning and fueling planes. Tom Lydon broke the story of the airport terror connection. He's here with another exclusive investigation. Huh?
And when we did that story, we heard from a lot of his coworkers. They really just sort of came out of the woodwork. What they shared with us was quite frankly shocking. Weapons left on the tarmac, security guards sleeping on the job, but also workers being told to deliberately mislead TSA. The kind of security loopholes a terrorist could only dream of, unless, of course, he was already working at the airport. The flying public seldom gives a second thought to the workers who actually clean our planes, often for minimum wage. That may change with Abdurrahman Mohammed, the Twin Cities man who fueled and cleaned planes for a decade at Twin Cities International before traveling to Syria, where he was likely killed fighting for ISIS.
To know that we had somebody like that actually doing the security searches and things, it is absolutely terrifying.
This man worked with them cleaning planes for DGS, Delta Global Services.
You have completely unrestricted private access to anything.
He says security was an afterthought. Most of the cleaners entering the tarmac at checkpoint 222, showing their security badge and getting a cursory check around the vehicle, but rarely the inside.
In the years I'd been there, I'd never been searched.
Never.
Never, not once.
He even photographed a guard sleeping at the checkpoint and waited 5 minutes before she woke up. He documented other security lapses, like weapons left right on the tarmac, in their cases, but unsecured. The cleaners are also responsible for securing the plane, checking for any weapons left under the seats, in the seat backs, lavatory, or galley. But he says there were too many planes and not enough cleaners.
They made the attempt, but if pressed for time, then they just did a rush job, do what you can do.
So TSA began planting decoys aboard to make sure the cleaners were actually doing their job.
Numerous times where that object was not found, and then TSA comes aboard after the aircraft's secured, and they find these objects and realize that these cleaners had not been in any of those places that they were supposed to have gone into.
He says DGS began playing a cat and mouse game with TSA. Last February, a manager even putting these signs up in the office and break room, warning employees, TSA is out. They've been hiding test objects, and to call a manager or supervisor if they're around your aircraft. The signs even suggest misleading TSA that, quote, when asked if the check is complete, your answer is no. Then say you're going for supplies and call management immediately.
If there wasn't a manager there pushing them the whole time, a lot of times they would just ignore it.
With that kind of lax oversight, he says there'd be nothing stopping someone like Abdurrahman Mohammed.
He could have planted a weapon on a plane.
Easily, very easily. If he had somebody that he knew that was going to be on a plane, he would know their seat numbers, and he's the guy securing it. He could easily plant something before that plane went out and that passenger to have access to it.
Our whistleblower emailed TSA and shared his pictures, saying cleaners were being instructed to lie. But he never heard back. A spokesperson for Delta, which owns DGS, told Fox 9 the signs violated policy and were immediately removed, and disciplinary action taken with the manager who hung those signs. In April, the cleaning contract was taken over by another company, AirServe, who hired many of the same DGS employees. Our whistleblower left around the same time, so unsettled by what he saw behind the scenes, he hasn't flown since.
It's an important job that goes to the lowest bidder.
And think about what he said there just for a second, an important job that goes to the lowest bidder. It's important to keep in mind, TSA knew something wasn't quite right here, so a spokesperson for TSA wouldn't go on camera and wouldn't go into specifics, but told us their approach to aviation security is, quote, unpredictable and layered. They also say they have procedures in place to deal with insider threats, but that many of those procedures are unseen by the public. Jeff, Kelsey?
All right, Tom. Boy, that is eye-opening. Well, new disgusting video released by TMZ leads